I'm Alexis.
And I'm Tiffany, and we're the hosts of Legit KidLit, a video series where we get to see into the secret and silly lives of authors and illustrators.
We love to celebrate and promote books, but most of all, we want to say hey to all you readers out there trying to find that right book for you. We hope that you can find some new reads after
We have a very special guest joining us today. Benjamin Giroux is the Kirkus Review star author of I Am Odd, I Am New, which pubs October 26th by Schiffer Publishing and is illustrated by Roz McLean.
Benjamin has been featured on many websites, including the Huffington Post and on the Today Show and Good Morning America. He was named Poet Laureate of Plattsburgh, New York, and has been the face of the National Autism Association's anti-bullying campaign. His poem has been translated into several languages.
Through the eyes of 10-year-old Benjamin Giroux, being odd is different, and different is a good thing. This is what the then fifth grader hoped to convey in his poem, beginning every few sentences with I am, about what it is like to live with autism. Inspired by a school assignment, Benjamin's raw and emotional words poured out onto the page, but when he feared they were not any good, his parents shared the poem with friends and family. Little did they know that it would go viral and end up inspiring thousands of strangers who identified with him to share their support. Now, for the first time, Benjamin's iconic poem, I Am Odd, I Am New, comes to life in this lovingly illustrated picture book with a foreword written by the National Autism Association. So whether you know the poem or it is new to you, discover how Benjamin's honesty will reassure children of all ages that it's okay to be different. Hello and welcome, Benjamin. We are so happy to have you here on Legit KidLit, episode 58. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your book?
Hello, my name is Benjamin, and I'm a Kirkus Review star author. And I wrote this book when I was 10, and it's called I Am Odd, I Am New, and it comes out this fall.
We'd love to hear more about how you became an author.
I became a published author after I had a school assignment that my parents really liked. It was a poem for library class or whatever. And so my parents said it was really good, and I just said that it wasn't, and they were just being biased. So they posted it on Facebook to say, hey, look at all these other people who really like your poem. So after that, it just went viral online, and I got contacted by my now agent, Naomi Davis, who said it was really good and wanted to make a book out of it. So she worked on it for a while, and then we got it sold to Schiffer Publishing, which was insane.
Do you have a favorite part of your book?
This is my favorite part of the book is this page here where it says, I am odd, I am new, I understand now that so are you. Not only is the picture very nice, but it also shows the realization that everyone's different and unique.
What do you like to do for fun, and do you have a favorite?
Oh, what do I like to do for fun? Well, I really like skiing and kayaking. Those are two of my most favorite hobbies. I also love taking care of my pet snake, Monty. And my favorite food is buffalo chicken wings. Sorry for the stutter there.
I have to know, is Monty named after Monty Python?
To your previous comment on his name, and I'd like to introduce you to my little baby boy here who loves his grandpa, Monty. Well, his full name is Monty Cornsnake, and yes, it is a reference to Monty Python. And he's a corn snake, he's about a year old, and he is super adorable. He's a little freaked out right now because of the bright lights, but...
Okay, the big question is, are you planning on writing any more books?
I actually do plan on writing more books. Actually, I've already written 2 more. One of them, my agent's going through, and the other one she's yet to review. But they're about my pet snake, Monty, and anxieties of your own body, and anxieties of what other people think about you. And I'm really excited to see what she thinks about the second one, because she reviewed the first one, and she said it was amazing, and that it might be even better than my first book, which was I Am Odd, I Am New. So I'm just really nervous about the second one, seeing if it stands up to her standards.
Benjamin, thank you so much for hanging out with us today and helping us learn more about you and your amazing new book. We cannot wait to get our hands on it, and everyone just needs to go ahead and pre-order now.
Hi, Alexis and Tiffany. Thank you so much for having Benjamin on your channel. So the backstory about his poem that he wrote that went viral goes back about 5 years ago now. He was in 5th grade at Beekmantown Elementary School, which is his 3rd school that he had attended. He was in his 2nd year there when he was tasked, well, the entire class was tasked with writing a poem for Poetry Month, which coincided with Autism Awareness Month, that was entitled I Am. And the very first 2 words of every sentence was given to each student. So I am, I hear, I see, I understand, and whatnot. And each child was to write their own poem. So Benjamin, not one to have shown any fluency in poetry, sat down and wrote the poem. Unfortunately, he didn't finish it. He still had the last 3 or 4 lines of the poem to write, so he was sent home Thursday evening, and was at home. He completed his homework. Once he finished the poem, he handed it to myself, and then obviously my wife, Catherine, read it as well. But when we read it, I mean, to say that we were in shock and almost brought to tears is not even, close to how powerful and much of an impact the poem had on us. To not only see how amazing his poetry skills and his choice of words to describe his feelings, how amazing that was, the shock of finally being told by our then 10-year-old that he felt odd, that he felt different from everyone else, that he understood that he was different from everyone else as far as his autism goes, and things that he could pick up on and things that he sees that other people don't. And I mean, that was extremely heartbreaking for us to know that he was in so much pain, but he never talked about it. He would see his counselor, and even with us, he was very, open with us, but he never, told us about these feelings. He always told us that school was fine and that school was okay, and it was just another school day. So Friday he was supposed to read the poem in front of the entire class, and Friday morning, getting ready for the bus, he had an anxiety attack and realized that he had to stand up in front of class and read it, and he didn't want to. The fear of having the entire class laugh at him some more because he was so open and honest about his feelings terrified him. And so I kept him home that day. I wasn't going to send him off to school in that condition. It wouldn't have been good for anyone. So we kept him home, and he calmed down, and the rest of the weekend went as usual until Sunday evening, when he was getting ready for bed and packing his lunch for the next day. He realized that it's Monday, I'm going to have to read my poem again. And so the anxiety started coming back, and we kept telling him that it was brilliant, that he needed to read it to his classmates so that they understood how he felt. It was like, because he didn't speak much in class, he would have his outbursts and he had his tics and things like that, but he never really communicated with his class. So a lot of kids were hurting him without even knowing it. Simple things of, if he sat down at a table and they would just immediately get up and walk away, just not knowing how to interact with Ben, and just things like that they would say and do that weren't purposefully bullying or being harsh or harmful, just as 10-year-olds didn't know how to deal with it. And so we really felt that he needed to communicate that to his class. So he kept telling us that, Mom, Dad, you're telling me that the poem is good because you're my parents and you have to. So I said, let me put it on Facebook then, and we'll get, people telling you how great it is. And he's like, well, everybody on Facebook is your friend or a relative. So same thing there. So I said, well, what if I put it on the National Autism Association Facebook page? and that way total strangers will give you their feedback. And so he agreed, and I put it on the NA Facebook page, and it wasn't even 15 minutes later that they contacted me and asked if they could put it on their main page and share it with their audience. And we agreed, and the support just started pouring in there. Within 24 hours, we had been contacted by the Daily News and the Today Show and the New York Times, and all the major news outlets had reached out to us for interview, and quotes of television crews came to our house to do interviews on Ben, and it was quite overwhelming. It was amazing because almost all the feedback was so supportive and so understanding, and it was the range of people who gave us feedback as far as how much they felt the poem and how much they felt the same way. And it wasn't just people that were on the spectrum. It wasn't just children. It was adults. It was people of all backgrounds that all would contact Ben and tell him, that's how I felt, or that's how I feel. And Ben really appreciated that feedback, and it opened up his eyes to that. Yes, he's different because of his autism, but we're all different because of something. We all have our quirks and our personalities that make us odd or different than someone else, and that's what brings us all together. We're all these puzzle pieces that are all different, yet somehow interlock to create a bit bigger picture. And so just started rolling there, and people started sharing it all over social media. It got translated into over 20 different languages. We were getting contacted from news outlets from France, Germany, Mexico, Australia. They were just reaching out from everywhere. And one of those celebrities that shared his poem was author Anne Rice from one of her social media accounts. And at this point, I knew that we needed to do something about Ben's poem, to trademark it or something to protect his words so that somebody else didn't benefit from them. So I sent a direct message to Anne Rice's social media account, not expecting anything in return, but however, her personal assistant, Beckett, was the one who reached back to me and said that he's the one who runs Anne Rice's social media at the time, and that he had shared Ben's poem because he felt a very strong connection to the poem because he had someone in his life that was on the spectrum. And so the poem really resonated with him. So I asked him for advice, saying, how do I protect his words? How do I go about doing that? Because I'm at a loss. And so he put me in touch with his agent, who, upon reading Ben's words, fell in love with his words and took it on her personal journey to make sure that those words were put out there for the world to read. And that's his current agent, Naomi Davis, who worked tirelessly for the last 5 years to make sure that this poem was turned into an illustrated children's book, which it now is, and will be released October 26th. So it's the full circle of a poetry assignment to now a poem that is now a children's book. And it was just awarded the Kirkus Review Star, which is a big deal in the writing community. We didn't know what it was until we received it, and looking at it, and it's they review 10,000 books per year, and only 10% of those books receive the star. And we're actually waiting right now to find out if, in fact, Ben is the youngest author to ever receive the Kirkus Star. So that's just one of many awards that we anticipate Ben to receive with his book. And we're hoping that once the book is out, more people will read it, and that children will learn that they shouldn't be afraid of who they are, because their differences is what makes them unique, and being unique is wonderful. And we're a much better world if we embrace everyone's uniqueness. So that's the story of Ben's poem, and now Kirkus Star children's book. So thank you again for having us and doing this segment on Ben's book, and we hope that everyone gets a chance to read it and take away from it whatever part of it connects with them, and that everyone will learn to be odd too, and to embrace their quirks. So take care, everyone.